Greetings and welcome to this week's edition of 401k Real Talk. This is Fred Barstein, contributing editor at wealthmanagement.com's RPA Edge and CEO at TRAAs, TPSU, and 401k TV. I review all of last week's stories and select the 5 most important and interesting ones, providing open, honest, and candid discussion you will not get anywhere else. So let's get real. First story, behavioral economics has revolutionized the DC industry through the use of auto features, helping people in spite of themselves. In a recent New York Times column by one of the architects, University of Chicago professor and Nobel Prize winner Richard Thaler, along with Yale professor Owen Lamont, explain why people make dumb investing decisions or why smart people act irrationally, citing the new movie, Dumb Money. We all know the stats. Target date investors do better. Even random selection has better results. And women do better than men because they trade less and are not as overconfident. The problem might have been exacerbated, according to Thaler and Lamont, because people had more time on their hands and government money during the pandemic. The solution is simple. Auto-enroll them into target date funds, which are getting smarter, and perhaps eventually managed accounts as they get older. Meanwhile, knowing the problem is half the battle, and citing experts like Thaler and Lamont can help advisors make the case for deploying more professionally managed products. Next story, are wealth advisors and RAAs beginning to see the potential in DC plans? That's the observation of Jack Sherry, EVP and Chief Growth Officer of Life Yield, in a recent Financial Advisor column, who works with advisors and broker-dealers to integrate DC and outside assets, managing tax benefits. Smart retail money managers like Fidelity, Schwab, and Vanguard have been tapping DC assets for decades, while top money managers like BlackRock and American funds see the value. Most wealth advisors have stayed away from DC plans due to low fees and high liability. That is changing as Morgan Stanley CEO James Gorman predicts that the workplace will eventually become the #1 place to gather assets. Technology is helping advisors to provide advice at scale as DC accounts balance grow and the integration with outside assets facilitated by firms like Pantera become more critical. Fintechs like Vestwell are providing cutting-edge platforms for advisors while safely sharing data. Finally, employers are more engaged with helping workers with financial issues, and employees are more likely to trust advisors hired by their employer. With DC plans expected to explode in the small market due to state plans and Secure 2.0 tax credits, look for more wealth advisors supported by their home offices and tools providers to be more engaged in the DC industry. Next story, speaking of Vestwell, they just announced that they will be administering New Jersey's Secure Choice Savings Plan in 2024, which will be the 7th mandate they have won. No other provider has won a government mandate, except for Vestwell, since 2021. So are state plans a good thing? With just $1 billion in assets and tiny account balances in IRAs, they are not very attractive for advisors, and apparently not many providers either. But they do spawn more plan formation and could bring more wealth advisors into the DC market as clients forced to start a plan may turn to their trusted advisor. Next story, more and more ERISA lawsuits are being filed, with one law firm now seeking settlement even before they bring a case. While most defendants file a motion to dismiss, that bar could be high as plaintiffs choose the facts most favorable to them, which are assumed to be true. A recent district court in the Matney case, echoing many other courts, dismissed a lawsuit, possibly lowering the bar, noting that there must be a meaningful benchmark, not just cheaper options, digging deeper into the facts, while the case cites high fees as the grounds for the lawsuit. But Jerome Schlichter, the father of ERISA lawsuits, does not think this decision will have a meaningful impact or a deterrent to these lawsuits. It might just winnow out the weaker cases, and less experienced law firms might be less reluctant to file a case who are just literally copying and pasting previously filed complaints in hopes of a quick settlement. Finally, the auto plan has obvious benefits for helping DC participants accumulate assets, but do they pose a risk to advisors, along with target date funds, which can be implemented by providers without an advisor? Though obvious and with strong adoption, most small plans do not deploy all the features of the auto plan. So the role of the advisors becomes even more critical to help frontline administrators to sell the ideal plan to senior management by comparing the features of the 5 to 10 competitors that the employer loses workers to or recruits from, as recruiting and retention remain critical. Read my recent wealth management column about how the ideal plan can help advisors distinguish themselves. So those were the most important stories from the past week. I listed a few others I thought were worth reading. Please let me know if I missed anything or if you have any comments. Otherwise, I look forward to speaking with you next week on 401k Real Talk.